This program is brought to you by Emory University.
One of the things was I knew that I was going to have an Olympics coming.
That's true.
And I ended up having a Super Bowl, a World Series, and an Olympics during the time I was here, which was pretty remarkable. But also, the economy still was in a good place. So thank you, Alan Greenspan. And not only was it good for a student and good for the Atlanta economy, but Xerox having a hub here, Coke, Delta, it led me to believe that I was going to be at a really great place geographically and professionally upon graduation, which is why I think it's oddly prescient that I'm here in class day. And also, being Jewy McJewpants from Brooklyn, the notion of going to another urban center in the Midwest did not appeal to me as much as it was to come here. I don't know if the distribution of the distribution requirements still in effect academically, where you have to the whole Chinese food menu of you have to take one from column A and one from column B.
I think so, yeah.
But I have to say, at first I was resistant to that, and I owe so much to that academic choice. I'm mentioning it in the speech in a little bit, but the only class I've ever aced, like my average was 103 in this class. It's ridiculous. Is masterpieces of symphonic literature taught by Professor Charles Schisler in Whitehall. And I crushed that class. And in a million years, I never thought that I would have an aptitude in that realm. And it's knowledge that has served me tremendously as I now pick tracks for my show and stuff like this. A fraternity brother of mine had transferred to USC and came back, saw me do a sketch for like talent night or whatever, and said, you should audition for Theater Emory. It's like a professional theater company attached to the school. And I met people that were a lot more like me, but also people that were free. There's something, I guess, about insular, I guess, to some degree with the fraternity sorority world, where you're kind of keeping up with the Joneses, and you take so-and-so to the date party, you gotta look like this in the photo, who's going to formal, the cummerbund or vest, I don't know, whatever. Oh, this guy to Old South, but then she's gotta come with whatever. And I just opened up a whole other part of myself that I really didn't know I was allowed to, I guess.
What play was it?
Tegoni and African Antigone. And Wole Soyinka, the Nobel Prize winner, his sister had worked with a Penn Award-winning playwright named Femi Osho-Fisson, and I played the Creon role. And as such, when Wole himself directed a play at the second space at the Mary Greenman Road Theater, I was in it. So I got a chance to work with a Nobel Prize winning playwright because of Emory, which was insane. Oh, I tell people who go, because I ended up going to Yale for graduate school, and you speak to these very bougie Ivy League people. And I'm like, well, actually, no. One of my teachers, I tell them in undergrad, I had lectures and was taught by Bishop Desmond Tutu, the Dalai Lama, and a member of the Israeli parliament. And they go, where did you go? And I said, Emory. This girl named Stephanie just busted me up real bad. And I went and I bought one of those Moleskine blank notebooks. And there used to be a great restaurant on Virginia, right off of Briarcliff, called Virginia's. It no longer exists. I think it's like a garage now. It breaks my heart. But I went there to write again, I'll mention this in the speech too, but I went there to write cheesy college breakup poetry, and I began writing about this experience and still got my feelings out there, but I used the food as the point of departure. I used the music that was playing, the menu items, and then it just led down this path of exploration because I didn't know if I'd ever go back to Atlanta or if I was going to stay here. And I would drive around and go to church cookouts in Peachtree City and go to Conyers and go to Alpharetta and Marietta and to find in College Park and places that I never thought I would go. And then I acted in a play. I did Atlanta Classical Theater, Shakespeare in the Park in Grant Park, and found Daddy D's Barbecue in Marietta. And it was just, there's so many little places, and it blew my mind. Even going to Decatur and going to the farmer's market, and getting such an education there, and broadening my horizons. Well, the thing is, you would think as a New Yorker, where you have myriad cultures at your fingertips that are first generation, that this would happen. And I think that I was open to it because of my upbringing, but I think I was cognizant and intelligent and adult enough to really appreciate the value of it, even if it was stuff that was totally whack. I mean, I remember going with some friends to see a show at the 40-watt UGA, and then we were hungover enough that things made sense. So we're like, let's climb Stone Mountain. Sure, it's as good a time as any. You climb Stone Mountain, go to Waffle House, make a bad mistake with the steak and eggs.
That exactly.
But I mean, I've done that. You do the Whistle Stop Cafe, but also, you know, going to other parts of Georgia that I otherwise would not have had a chance. Going to Dublin, Georgia. Going to Macon. Going to LJ, the apple capital of Georgia. I'm a New Yorker. I didn't know y'all even had an apple capital. Going to Gaffney and like Vidalia, and truly seeing everything from minor league baseball to, like I said, church cookouts to little pop-up restaurants, and then, you know, juxtaposing that with the Buckhead Diner and Cafe 22 Tango and Nakado Sushi on Cheshire Bridge and Bamboo Luau. I mean, there are so many memories, and I realize for me, as much as a lot of people say smell is the most evocative thing, culinarily speaking, food's always been a big touchstone for me, and I owe so much of that to Atlanta. I mean, it was where I decided I was going to make a go of as an actor. It's where I first paid my rent as an actor. It's the first time I was ever saw my picture really in the paper was in The Wheel with Femi, with Wole Soyinka. My roommate Kevin wrote for The Spoke, and so I saw that, and you know, and there's also something, you know, my cousins went to UNC and Duke, and because they are such megalopolis, whatever they are, they're just these big entities, these behemoths in terms of like their athletic prowess and whatever else, that because people can't define Emory, they know it's a great school, but they don't know, and I think that gives us a lot of latitude. So they know the reputation, but they don't realize, wait, you're an international studies major, and you studied French, and you studied directing, and you studied, what? I don't get symphonic literature, but when you get here and you realize you have those resources at your fingertips, that you can go to Alpharetta, that you can get to Chambly. Like, that was the thing, like taking Buford Highway into Chambly, and you're like in the middle of Vietnam, you're in the middle of Thailand.
That's
and
true.
People,
You've got all of the cultural resources.
And people people expect you're going to get down here and you're going to wear a seersucker and eat cobbler every day. And I mean, truly, as a Jew from New York, I didn't know what to expect. I knew that there was that Charlie Daniels song, and you know, I didn't really know. I knew that Coca-Cola had a big foothold, and it blew my mind. The resources blew my mind. Seeing Jimmy Carter my second day walking into the Duck, I was flabbergasted. I remember like my first grade class being told to, or second grade class, write a letter to President Carter. And now he's within 20 feet of me going, I'll see you in your class later. Damn. But also, you know, the thing is, I just changed agencies and I'm with William Morris now. And one of my agents said, I'm an hemorrhoid too, whatever. And you talk and I was saying, did Dooley ever get you out of class? And everyone in the room has no idea. And you can't really, okay, there's a skeleton in a top hat and a cape, and he's got people and a water gun. Like, by the time you explain it to someone, they don't understand it, and they wouldn't get it. And
then you tell them that it's not the mascot.
Yes.
Like, well, now I'm really confused.
Well, also, we shot an NFL episode, and I deliberately wore a T-shirt that said Emory football still undefeated. And they're like, oh, they're like, really? So then I was like, I'm going to have fun. I'm like, yeah, I was quarterback for the Emory team. Because they said, oh, you must be really proud because you played for them. Sure. I actually was a varsity athlete. I was an Eagle. I did track and field. I did shot discus for the team. And again, even that as a freshman, because I played sports from my high school, when you do it on the collegiate level, I remember going to Sewanee and University of the Swamp, and you go there, and there was something, I'll never forget that day. They gave me, you know, my Emory. I mean, there was something about, you know, the level of uniforms and the it was such a big moment for me. You know, there's my Emory singlet and my Emory track jacket, and you're wearing the, you know, this blue and gold, and it was such a big moment for me. And I even remember being able to come home and get my mom like the sticker for her windshield and the Emory mom sweatshirt.
That's great.
And to this day, as many people as you would think comment on the Yale stuff she wears, always comment on the Emory stuff. And it gets as much, if not more, respect because of how selective it is. quite frankly, I think with my grades, I probably couldn't have gotten into Emory today.
The preceding program is copyrighted by Emory University.